Okay, so I just want to rewind a bit to something that you just kind of slipped in earlier, but it's such a massive concept, and you just kind of slipped it in. But I think that maybe we need to go back and look at that a little bit more. And it's where you said that, our vasanas are with us, and through lifetimes. And not until we actually get rid of these vasanas, as my understanding, until we get rid of these vasanas, do we actually end the cycle of birth and death. So then the picture that comes to mind is we're just on this continuum. There's no, like you said, there's no birth and death actually, really, in that continuum. It's just like this never-ending existence until you actually wake up and do something about it. I don't know. I'm using my words, but I would love it if you could actually explain that because it's just massive. But it just kind of slipped through.
You see, yeah, life is a continuum till we reach the pinnacle of our evolution of our consciousness. So, all these vasanas or the tendencies coming from our past lives is what we've allowed to fester inside us. Okay. And they are all coming because we have always operated in the phenomenal world using the mind and our desires. Right. So, but the idea or the goal of life where this game ends is not to keep controlling all your vasanas, is to experience that I am not this body, neither this mind, nor these tendencies. I am that one consciousness. Right? So you can either keep, trying to unsolve every question of yours or go through everything that you've done in the past and undo it, or you go for the goal and experience it and say, this is the reality and this is what I've come to experience, right? And I am aware that my vasanas are my handicaps, right? They're like a handicap you are, carrying with you, and you have to overcome that handicap. And with gyan, with the right knowledge, with wisdom, you can handle it. And you understand, yes, this is my blind spot, this is my weakness, right? And but this is my reality is not this, and these weaknesses have persisted in me only because of my false understanding, because of my ignorance. Why do you come to a guru? Who's a guru? Who's a teacher? Teacher is a person who is giving you the right understanding. Is trying to correct your understanding from where you have been. You've been caught into a wrong understanding of what the world is, and because till now you have lived that reality, right? You are continuing to reinforce your vasanas because that's the reality you are part of. Now you're beginning to understand that there is actually another reality of yours, right? Which, if you have to experience that reality, then you cannot continue on the path of the mind that you've been so used to. So when you go back home, like you came back to England, and you unconsciously, out of habit, get back again into your mind, the world of your mind, and we lose the awareness of all. This question of yours, I think, you've done so much sadhana already on that path, but it just goes out because we go back into the world of the mind, and slowly whatever we've acquired, it starts to fritter away. So that is our challenge. That is the reason why it is a continuum. And to me, if you were to just ask this question to yourself as a normal, logical, rational person with a intelligent mind, you would know that if this is the goal of life which I have to experience, then if I continue to follow the path of the mind, right, and blaming my vasanas for it because I'm carrying it from a past lifetime, of course, not just this body, 10 more bodies will not be, they will come and go. What is the body? Body is just an instrument in which the consciousness takes a lift, a temporary lift, and says, hey, you have to experience me fully, right? And this is your chance. Every time a new body is a chance for us to finish this game there. There is no need to carry, everything along with you every time. Every birth is a potential and it's a possibility of ending the game in that birth. Every birth is a possibility of ending this continuum. The question is, are you ready for it? Do you want it? And if you keep doing what you're doing, you will continue in this continuum. And if you now use your discrimination, your discernment of having been given the right path, you can stop it here and now, in this moment. But you'll have to let go of your temptations and your weakness of your flesh and the weakness of your mind and all the other things that still make you hold on to this phenomenal world. That's your challenge. That's the challenge. When I say your challenge, is the challenge of everybody.
I'm just remarking on how beautifully this conversation is coming together, and it just wasn't planned at all. But you said it just now when you said, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not my vasanas. And, I didn't pick those questions in any order. It's just happened that we've touched on those three things. And we've spoken about, well, actually, if I only use my mind for practical, for undertaking practical things that I need to do to get things done, rather than actually living through my mind and whatever my mind throws up, the nonsense that my mind throws up, because it's actually attached to likes and dislikes and past conditioning and whatever it is. If I realize that I'm not my body and all my senses and what comes out of living through my senses, and if I'm aware of my tendencies, all of those things then pull us in to ourselves, where we then get to connect with consciousness, with the truth, with the reality, the ultimate reality, and start living a life of peace and bliss.
Yeah, and that is what the consciousness is waiting for. That you should knock the door and say, hello, are you there? Can I come in? Can we have a conversation? Right? Can we get to know each other? It's been waiting for this. And because the path of the mind is endless, it is a continuum. You get bruised and battered by these likes and dislikes. These charms of the world are endless, and so are the sorrows of this world are endless. And as Shankaracharya ji says, that you have to continuously, why would you on earth want to go through this experience of birth and death? And birth is not easy. For 9 months, you have to be in the dark womb of the mother and go through a lot of discomfort to come into this world. It's a difficult passage, right? So, why would you want to do it if you awaken? Why would you want to subject yourself to this? Today you are so happy. And how weak we are in our flesh that for a moment of, physical intimacy and physical comfort, we kind of let go of that. And then that there is a sorrow waiting for you there. Or when you pander to the desires of the mind and, of your senses, there is a momentary satisfaction. But then, slowly the sorrow does come in. The unhappiness comes in. It is a cycle, it is a tendency, it happens all the time. And yet we continue to do that. Yet we are so weak. And now we know the knowledge, now we have the right understanding, right? Despite of that, we just don't go in because we just go back into that comfort. Because so here is where you have to ask yourself that if you continue to do this, then of course that's the reality that you'll manifest. Remember, Yad Bhavam Tat Bhavati, everything is our own creation. So what you want to create, if you want to go for bliss, Satchitananda, then it is this inner path. But if you want this world, then of course, continue to be in that. And as I've said, and you as you go and meet this inner world and this inner guy, this inner beauty that is there, and you can still enjoy the outer beauty as well. Yeah, it's just that what we have been doing so far is a completely opposite approach to what we should be doing. Yeah, and when we and the starting point has to be there, and the only starting point to me that makes a lot of sense is I've done enough of the external world thingy, right? And I've gone through its set of experiences. Let me try this one out. And for some time, it's like you take a sabbatical. You say, enough of my job, enough of my business. Let me take a sabbatical and do something different. Take a sabbatical from this world of the mind and go and explore the joys and charms of the world within. Be a Alice in Wonderland and go and fumble and stumble and figure out the joys of a world that is so beautiful. But because you have no idea of, we don't have a guide, we don't have a teacher, we don't have somebody who can help us. But if you have all that, then I wonder what we are still waiting for.
You make it sound so simple. And actually, why not take a sabbatical? It's actually the sabbatical should be the work, but then because we're so used to being in that lifestyle, the sabbatical becomes living in truth. But yeah, no, it's actually such an amazing suggestion. And if people could only just take the plunge and take that break and try it out, I know because I've tried and it's obviously changed my life. So yeah, that's a wonderful suggestion. And I love I love to see you getting more and more animated as you're saying it because it's coming through so clearly. You're like, come on, everyone, just wake up and just do this. And I want everyone to experience what I'm experiencing. And that's amazing. It's such a, it's like you've got the sweet, you know the secret, and you want to share it with everyone. And that just comes across so clearly. It's amazing.
That's why they say joy is infectious.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have this fantasy that the love energy should just flow. It's like this tap that doesn't switch off. It's just constantly on, or it's like a river that's just full and is flowing all the time. And that's not it's not my experience of it. My experience of it is I can tap into it when I want to tap into it. And if I can't tap into it, then I know that there is something that needs my attention. There's something that I need to clear. And all of this has come from my experience of doing my sadhana with you. Um, but still that kind of dream that I had that, unconditional love or pure love is just this constant stream and I would just be walking around like that the whole time. Haven't got there yet. So does that mean I'm not experiencing unconditional love? If it's not constant, if it's not that constant energy that I feel, for example, when I'm at your feet, then it's like this intense, constant feeling. But if it's not that, am I not experiencing it? Can you just give me some clarity on that?
You see, Vaneeta, yeah, if it is not continuous, it comes, anything that comes and goes means the connection is not fully complete. Okay. Uh, I like to relate it that the only way for us to have this continuous experience of this unconditional flow of love is when we become unconditional ourselves, right? And as the word suggests, that it has to be without any conditions. And where are all the conditions put and stored? It's the mind. You got it. So it's the mind which is holding the conditions. And the reason that you are not in a constant flow is because of your mind. Whenever the mind comes in, the flow gets stopped and you're out of it. So I call the mind as the heavy zone of gravity. It's the gravitational pull that doesn't allow us to become weightless. Because remember, when you are out of the Earth's gravitational pull, you go into weightlessness and you go into effortlessness. Everything happens, right? So, so imagine yourself like a rocket, but this rocket has to go into the space. But what is pulling it down is the gravity. So your rocket wants to reach the point of experiencing the bliss within you, which is effortless, which is saral, which is sahaj, which is spontaneous, right? But it's the gravity of the mind which is not allowing it to go there, right? So now you need maximum thrust on this rocket. All the power actually the rocket needs is only to get out of the orbit of the gravitational pull of the earth, right? And once it goes out, it actually jettisons all the extra fuel. So all the effort today in our sadhana is required for us to overcome our mind, for us to get used to living a life only through consciousness and not through the mind. Using the mind only when it is required to accomplish the day to day tasks that we need to do. That is the role of the mind. So, but we are unable to do it. We keep coming back into the mind because remember, we do little bit of sadhana where we experience, like you gave the examples, you have experienced it, what it means to be in that free flow, but you have not got fully anchored into it because you went back into the world of the mind again. And it is actually so learning, so important you did what you've done, because now you know what happens when you're half baked, right? When you've not fully gone there and you go back and you go back into this world of the mind all over again, and then pull here and a pull here and a pull here and a pull here, and then there is alternate connection, no steady connection, right? When you're able to be in your silence and stillness, you experience that flow. When you are not, and when the mind pulls you, you go out of it. But there comes a state in your sadhana when you become absolutely connected, and that connection then cannot be taken away from you. It's constant, it is steady. It is when you have broken the magnetic pull of gravity or the magnetic pull of the mind, and you are into that free space of consciousness. Till you are able to reach there, this will happen. Yeah, da-dan, 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 and it keeps coming. So know that that still requires a little bit more constant sadhana so that you can go back and be there as a sthit prajna, or a person who is in the state of nischal tattve, which is a state where you are not impacted by any charms and the temptations of the world, and there are no possibility for you to get drawn into likes and dislikes. Remember, choiceless awareness. Hmm. So, which which is good news, because you've tested the waters. You know you can go there. You know you are not fully there. You know there is a little bit more work to do, and it can be done. So there you go. It's good news.
Thank you. So yeah, it's that literally that kind of that moment, isn't it? It's like that's the mind is so tempting. It's just there and it's like tapping you and it's just like come in because I have an opinion on this or and it's such a strong opinion. And it's just being able to at that point, and this is where it gets difficult at that point to say, well, actually, I'm just not going to pay any attention. I do not
Yeah,
care
that's
what.
right. Stories. The mind has stories for everything, and it creates a story. And you have such powerful experiences, such important, and just one small thing, and we go completely the opposite way. We swing like this. We are like pendulums. We either go from one extreme of ecstasy and then the extreme, state of hatred and sorrow. So this is what the mind reveals it. That's why it's a continuum. The
Mm.
only way, to stop this is to remain in the middle. Neither swing here nor swing there, right? You know it. You have to stay here and say, sorry, I'm not tempted. I'm not coming for this. I'm not falling for this because I am at home and I'm happy.
The middle path, the middle way.
Middle way, you got it.
Mm.
The balance.
Balance. Good. And then in that balance, I'm going to feel unconditional, this stream of unconditional love.
Yes, because you're becoming unconditional yourself, remember? You
Mm.
should listen to the recording of this podcast.
Yeah, I will definitely have to.
Vaneeta, this life is so beautiful and it's so joyful, because it's a playground. In playground, have you ever seen a kid being unhappy unless the kid falls and hurts? There also, if no elder is watching, the kid gets up and starts playing again, mindless. Yeah, I've seen, children who've broken their legs also, or their arms also, they've fallen, but they kept playing because they enjoy playing so much. Why are we carrying such a heavy burden on life? Why can't we be like kids and enjoy this life as a playground? So what, if something has happened, or so what if it is not working as per your plan of your mind? That's your problem. Just go and have fun. And you can do it. There is a way. Our ancestors, our Vedas, our sages and saints have shown us a way. And if this joy of mind can convey to you, if there is possibly, there is positively, and there is this unique joy has to be experienced. As I keep saying, melody khao, khud jaan jao.
Can you translate for those who don't speak Hindi?
Yeah. Melody is a chocolate eclair. The only way to know how sweet it is and how much chocolate is inside it, the only way to find out is eat it yourself. So if you want to experience my joy,
Mm.
I am inviting you to come participate and we can take you to that joy. But you'll have to do your sadhana. If you're ready for it, I am ready. I'm game. I'm an instrument of consciousness sent only for this work. So I
Well,
have
that's
an open invitation for anyone who's listening to this podcast to come in. And if they are really ready and serious for it, then we are ready to take them there.
and if they really are interested, what do they need to do? Just email you or
Yeah, they can get onto our website and contact us, and then we can guide them on the path. As you know, we have the Atma Chalisa, a 40-day program, and then they can come in onto our daily messages. We have our evening every night silent meditations, and where we come in the field of energy, which we create a grid around the world, and we have a 21-day intensive for those who are ready, and ultimately we have our retreats that happen, and we come together in the celebration of this oneness and this love. So this whole world, as we were told, and as I'm now experiencing, is one big family. We're all family members, somewhere or the other. If we keep, bring, delving into our lineages, we'll realize that somewhere we were, some of our forefathers, ancient forefathers, came from the same mothers, and somewhere there is this one connection. So we're all in this celebration of this oneness, which Vedanta calls it as Vasudeva Kutumbakam, or one world, one family. This is our reality, and we have to come together to participate and experience this reality. So there's an open invitation for people to come in and experience it.
I would say that they shouldn't let that one pass up. Definitely take advantage of that one if you can, if you're ready. Mm. So slightly going back because things are popping into my head, but also something that's really we talk about it a lot in our discussions with the other members of Kelasa, the family members, and it comes up a lot. It came up a lot when we in your talks, and Tri-Karan-Shudhi, such a big one again, and it's one of those that I couldn't really grasp. And then I've had my aha moments, and it came up for me, it came up in what you were saying earlier, but then I forgot about it. So I'm coming back to it now because it's come up again. I had this experience of like I guess a deeper understanding of what it means, because Tri-Karan-Shudhi, your thoughts, your actions, and your words should align, right? That's the meaning of Tri-Karan-Shudhi. And I've heard you say that, your energy, which we have experienced and we experience strongly. I experience it just now when I'm listening to you, when I'm here with you, experience it obviously in your presence. I experience it when you're not even around, visibly around me. So it's there, it's really, really strong. And you've said that it's Tri-Karan-Shudhi. It's because your thoughts, your actions, and your words, they line up. And in that alignment, that's where your energy is really, really strong. Is that right? Am I right in what I'm saying so far?
Yeah, you ask a question and then I will
Okay.
clarify a bit.
So my experience was, I'm not sure what the question is, but my experience the other day was that, and it goes back to what we've been saying the whole time this afternoon, but of going inwards. And this whole thing of like, we've got we can live either the truth and our connection to consciousness and what we were saying earlier, or we can live through our senses in the phenomenal world. And as you said, we had a choice. We have a choice. And then the other day when I was in meditation, and when I'm in meditation, what I think is different to perhaps what I think when I'm not in meditation. When I'm just living my life in this phenomenal world, I'm living one reality. But then when I sit in meditation, what comes through is so strong and so different to what I think I'm thinking or what I'm believing in this phenomenal reality. And then the other day I was like, is that Tri-Karan-Shudhi? So if I was then to act on what was coming through when my mind is silent and my mind is switched off, it's not active, and I'm connected to what I consider to be connected to source, to consciousness, to my consciousness, to my heart space, whatever term we want to use. And then I realized if I then take action based on those experiences and that reality, then that might be Tri-Karan-Shudhi. And that's my question. Is that right? Is my understanding there correct of what Tri-Karan-Shudhi is?
Uh, Let me first uh, clarify what you just said. And actually, you've answered yourself a question that you'd asked prior to this. that what's the difference between the mind and the heart, how which thoughts are coming from the mind and the heart. And I think you just gave an example that when you meditate, the thoughts are coming from the heart or the consciousness, and when you are in the normal world, then the thoughts are coming from the mind. So I think it's better that you can stick to this. It's a good answer to yourself. So uh, so that is the difference between the two, and that's why I said that if you become silent, and if when the mind becomes quiet, then when the thoughts come, then they are coming from the consciousness. Okay? But that's not Tri-Karan-Shudhi. Tri-Karan-Shudhi, remember, it's three Karan. Three means three. Karan means the three aspects of thinking, speaking, right, or saying words, and actions. So those are the three Karanas. Okay? And three is three. And it is Shuddhi. Shuddhi means purification. Okay? So when first of all you have to purify, and this is this morning messages that I give every morning. And this is what I cover all these fundamental aspects of this during the morning messages. So you have to first purify your thoughts. What is the way to purify? That was your first question. With goodness. See good, be good, do good, right? Uh, Once you purify your thoughts, and those thoughts then find their way as an expression communicated through words, either written or oral, and what you say then is you follow it up with your own action. So when these pure thoughts start becoming words, and the words start getting transformed into reality, into actions, the thought releases an energy. The energy gets further energized. It finds more, it gets expanded when the words come in. And then that energy gets transmuted when it is put into action. And that becomes a potent energetic field that starts to create this aura of goodness or God or divinity. And because you hold on to this purity and you're always aligned in this goodness, it becomes a spinning energetic field which reaches you whenever you wish to, when you connect to me, as all of you connect to me whenever, even when I'm physically not visible to you. You connect to me, it's because I am holding that. The minute I am not holding to that, my transmitting station would be down, right? Which means downtime. But in my energetic field, there is no downtime. My field is running constantly all the time, even when I'm sleeping. Because even then, I'm holding on to this. So that means no slip up, no letting go. You are in that because you are who you are. And I must tell you this, I do not have to make any effort to do that. It is saral and sahaj. It is effortless, simple, spontaneous, natural, because this is who I am. How can I make an effort to be who I am? I just am. And you are not that because you are living in the world of the mind. And therefore you have to think about your words, you have to plan your thoughts and words, and then you have to figure out how to react. I don't have to do it. For me, it happens instantly, as you have lived with me and you've seen it in action, as the others who are here also realize, experience it, that it's just flow. There's actually no effort involved in anything that happens. It just keeps happening spontaneously. Like this conversation right now is a spontaneous conversation. I don't know what you're going to ask me. I don't know from where these answers are coming from. I am not putting my mind to it and answering you, right? And because I hold on to that, this truth starts to come out. And this truth is the energy. So my truth is my energy. And what is my truth? Is Tri-Karan-Shudhi. My truth is that what I think, what I speak, and what I do is one. Whether you understand or not, that's not my problem. Whether you misunderstand or understand, it's your issue. Whether you perceive it the way it is or you perceive it somewhere else, because if you put dark glasses on and you put the filters of your own judgment as the perceiving reality, then you are making and interpreting it in your own way. That's your challenge. I am who I am, and I'm holding on to that. And I'm holding on to it at all times. And that is creating an energetic field, right? And that is being received. So, therefore, all I do at all times is hold on to my truth because I have experienced my truth. And that's where this joy comes from. That's where from this energy comes from. And that is your truth and reality as well. It's just that you have not got, you know, stabilized in it. You've not got established in it. And the day you do, you'd also be in that Tri-Karan-Shudhi. So it's very simple. At your own implementation level, this is what it is. I have no memory. I don't need any memory because I don't have to remember anything. None of the things that I say ever come from my remembrance. All that everybody asks me who is here all the day, and we're doing different sadhanas with different people, they all come from that one consciousness. This is my truth. I'm established in my truth. Therefore, that truth supplies me all that I need energetically, spiritually, financially, and in all aspects.
So you said at the beginning, goodness. It all starts with goodness, purity of thought. And then we came to that your truth is that everyone and everything is part of this one consciousness. So because for some reason Tri-Karan-Shudhi eludes me, clearly this time too I got it wrong. So I just really want to understand, and I think for the benefit of everyone who's watching, does it always start with goodness, or does it always start with your truth? Are they one in the same? The truth, the only truth is one consciousness. That is clear. That it's all about consciousness, and we're all part of that one
That's my
consciousness.
truth. That's not your truth as yet.
It will be.
So your truth is what you want your truth to be.
Right, that's my question. Okay.
Yeah. At my level, there is that one truth. At your level, it's still a theoretical truth. Okay.
Yep.
You have to reach that point. But there has to be a starting point. The starting point has to be, are you able to, in whatever you believe, what you think and what you speak and what you do, are you aligned at all times? That's your first state to be that you have to do. That is called alignment of thought, words, and action. Once you have established that you're able to maintain that, then you have to move towards purity of your thoughts.
Hmm.
And then bring the goodness factor in, and then start to bring the goodness in thought, words, and action, right?
Right. Right. So the practice is being able to live the alignment of thoughts, words, and actions. And then you take it to the next level of what those thoughts are,
Yeah.
making them pure, making them the truth,
Yeah.
and then living that out.
Right. And so, therefore, start from your truth and go towards the one truth or the universal truth.
Hmm.